Welcome back to the Crypto Rainn channel. I'm your host, Jay Murph, and today I want to cover another exciting project. Now imagine for a second with me that you do really well in crypto in the coming 4 years, and you've accumulated a large amount of money. Now for you, that's different for everyone. So I don't know what it is in your case, but it could be 1 million, it could be 2 million, it could be 10 million, it could be 20 million. And this is your nest egg. This is your financial security blanket that you've worked really hard for. And you came into crypto, and like everyone who was new, you were bad before you were good. But then you learned how to kind of see the patterns and buy low and sell high, truly buy low and sell high. And you did really well. And imagine then you put most of that into some DeFi farming yields. And these gains are keeping you, not only you, but your family very snugly and warm. But then a hacker hacks in and drains all of those funds. And your security blanket is ripped away and you are once again completely out in the cold. Now I bring up this scenario because it absolutely happens. And there hasn't been a fantastic solution yet, but there might be one soon. You probably heard in the past few years of many of the major recent hacks and cyber attacks that were directed at DeFi platforms, with protocols and exchanges losing hundreds of millions of dollars. Well, who is really losing those funds in some of those cases? It's impacting the people who are providing liquidity to them. So the need for insurance in DeFi is increasing as the money in DeFi is greatly increasing. And this is going to be critical to implement if we want to really blossom and broaden to the mass market, especially if we want those in traditional finance and that world to come over, because they will not come over until they see really good asset protection. Now, as a disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. This isn't financial advice. I am just a regular crypto investor myself who started 4 years ago in crypto investing. Now, it helped that I did have about 20 years experience investing in other things before coming over to crypto. But like everyone, I was bad before I was good at crypto investing and had to make many of the newbie mistakes. But I stuck with it after some dumb, bad decisions and decided and recognized some patterns so I didn't make those again. So I'm interested in crypto and love crypto, but I'm not just here for the money. I'm also here for the technology. Okay, really, I'm mostly here for the really sick gains available pretty much nowhere else. The tech is cool though too. I also want to thank our sponsor for this month, and that's Ether Cards. They are doing a giveaway. I will talk about it at the end. They're giving away 27 CryptoPunks this month. I did some more thoughts on this giveaway, and I'll give you my thoughts at the end. I did a video more in depth covering it earlier this week as I was trying to process the announcement and exactly what it meant. I had some strategic thoughts on it. I'll save till the end. Okay, so what is the Saving Grace project I was talking about? Well, we don't know if it's a Saving Grace project, but it has good promise, and that is steady state. And they're coming at a good time because more funds continue to pour into DeFi month after month after month. Now, what is steady state and what makes it unique? Well, they provide insurance solutions for DeFi protocols and CeFi platforms, allowing them to develop their own custom insurance policies. Ultimately, this helps secure assets on DeFi platforms, making them safe in the event of loss, right? This is what insurance does. Also set up to benefit the communities with solid protection of their funds. Now, part of the thing I like about the way it's set up is they're going towards a DAO-based system. This is a decentralized autonomous organization-based system, meaning the token holders vote on the future direction of it, giving the power to the holders of the governance token to make strategic decisions that push the project forward. Now, you know, in general, I do love DAOs, and let me share with you why I love DAOs. They're not perfect. No structure is perfect. But as I was thinking about insurance, I was thinking about an insurance company that I'm somewhat familiar with. And it's in the United States, and it's only available to some of the population in the United States. But I have several friends that have insurance through them, and they love it. And that organization is USAA. Now, USAA is not run as a traditional corporation. It's run as a nonprofit, which it then actually gives a lot of power back to its policy holders. So as I was thinking about a DAO running insurance, it made me think of USAA. And I can't think of a single person I ever talked to that has USAA insurance that doesn't absolutely love it. Now, part of that probably is a culture that they created, but some cool things about USAA is when they collect too much in premiums so that they actually have a profit at the end of the year, they cut checks back to everyone, because that essentially means they ask for too much money and they refund it. Like, what company does that? Don't most corporations try to charge as much as the market will allow? Yeah, I mean, that's what corporations do. So in insurance, I like that kind of setup. Now, ultimately, with steady state, where do the insurance policies come from? Well, they come from users of steady state, as they provide the much needed liquidity in return for high rewards. This incentivizes them, hopefully, to continue contributing. Now, I'll talk about different ways in which user and providers can earn rewards a bit in a second. Liquidity is made available in coverage pools. Customers can select their preferences as to their coverage pool. They've also designed index pools where protocols and aggregators can put funds together, instituting essentially a shared policy plan. This allows, in essence, all the protocols to lower their premiums. Now, insurance pool tokens will be available also to be exchanged on secondary markets. Essentially, through DEXs, you'll be able to trade these insurance pool tokens. Some other things that they've developed to kind of make this all come together is they've developed off-chain data and risk scoring so that companies can choose which insurance policy is best for them, providing different risks and scoring to different pools. There's also something else I found that was pretty cool. They use a risk analysis database as well, which essentially is an open source database they created unique to their own protocol, and it collects data on DeFi hacks and protocols and leverages it to create models relying on machine learning to more precisely determine risk. A lot of big words, I know, but smart, right? This is built within its mechanism that's run and facilitated all by smart contracts. Now, let's shift just a second to the native token. And I know there's a lot of big words to get through on this in trying to explain it. I will see if I can have the team come and share with you so you can get a good feel for this. Now, I made the mistake when DeFi was new of kind of tuning it out, because as I watched videos on it and tried to absorb it, there were a lot of big words that were new to me, and I just kind of tuned it out, and I missed out on millions of dollars in gains, literally millions of dollars in gains, because I came about 5 months late to the DeFi party. That was June of 2020. Really, I started learning about it in February and March, which was exactly the time to be learning about it. But a lot of big words, and it was hard to understand, really. And I couldn't really see it in operation yet. And so I missed out on some big gains. So stick with me here. Let's shift to the token of steady state, and that's the risk token, RISQ. That is steady state's governance token, which essentially maintains the DAO-based system I was talking about. This gives users the voting and decision-making power. In addition, coverage providers also receive rewards and risk tokens, and holders can also earn rewards from liquidity mining and staking. So this token, I think, has some promise, and I'm looking forward to its upcoming launch. Let's talk a bit about the team. Their CEO, Jonathan Libby, has a strong financial and investment background. I spoke with him a few weeks ago and found him absolutely brilliant, and that's why I wanted to cover this project. He's very experienced in protecting against risk, and I would love to see him come on the channel and speak to you soon. Now, in that conversation, I can't say that I understood 100% of what he was talking about. But what I did know from that conversation is that he absolutely does understand it, which is good. Because the truth is, I don't need to understand everything about insurance. But I want to know that the team behind something that I'm interested in absolutely does understand it. Does that make sense? All right, the team itself has background in other areas like business management, venture capital, search engine optimization, marketing, and more, and that's great. Overall, their backgrounds are impressive. They put together a good team to hopefully make this project have some good success. Now, we all know this early in the stage, we don't know how a project is going to end up. But what I look for that's been a good indicator for me is how strong the team is. That is one of the reasons when I started this channel, I shared with you the vision that as we grew, I would have these projects come on and speak to you directly so that you can hear from them. That way we can get my biases out of the way and you can hear from the team to really get a feel for if you like them or not. Make sense? Now, we've talked about the benefits of steady state, but there are a few things that I'd like to see more with steady state. Now, they've got about 6,000 followers on Twitter, so not bad. But their Telegram following is a little bit low with slightly just over 1,000 members. Now, for a project this early in the stage, they haven't launched their token yet. That's pretty normal, but just something to keep an eye on. Because for this to be really successful, obviously that will really need to boom and grow. Because part of success in crypto is organizing and getting a lot of people excited about your project. Now, I think they have the right team to do that, but we'll see how this plays out. I do appreciate you joining us. You want to hear some more? Well, I guess another thought on steady state before we wrap up there. See, as DeFi is getting bigger, and it is getting bigger, insurance is like one of the necessary steps for this to hit. And my guess is we'll have several insurance projects coming soon. This one came to me through some of my VC connections. One of them who has actually worked behind the scenes and helped making a lot of successful projects successful, made an introduction for me to speak to them. After I spoke to Jonathan, the CEO, I was like, this project I want to talk about because I want to be aware of this, and I want to make my subscribers aware of it because, like you, after those gains, like I want to be able to insure my gains, right? Because I don't want my security blanket ripped away either. Now, to the Ether cards giveaway. If you watch my video on the Ether cards giveaway, fantastic. So you get this. If not, you can watch it. So Ether cards is giving away 27 CryptoPunks, a total of 30, but 3 are reserved for a battle royale, which I don't know the details of the battle royale. Now, do you realize 27 CryptoPunks, how much money that is? So I was trying to look at CryptoPunks on OpenSea. In fact, let's look at CryptoPunks on OpenSea. Share my camera here. All right, you can see I've got steady state pulled up. OpenSea. Let's check it out. Say, I want to show you how bad this is right now. If you're trying to get a CryptoPunk, there aren't even any buy nows when I last looked. So if you look for a buy now, you got no items to display. On auction, no items to display. Now, I guess they're doing an auction at Christie's or something, which is great. I've never bid an auction on Christie's before, but you can't even buy them right now. So we were looking at, I was trying to get a feel for what the value of them is. So I thought, I'm going to look at recently sold. And last 110 Ether. Ether was recently almost 4,000. It's down somewhat from them, but if you think of 4,000, that is over $400,000. Wow, what a steal on this one. 80 ETH. Boy, 105, 130, 95, 130. So there's not even any available for us to know what really the sale price on these are. So let's just assume that the floor is about $400,000. That's a lot. Okay, so they're giving away 27 of them, but the way the giveaway works is interesting. So if you're holding some of their cards, and those are these, they're giving away dust, and you need a certain amount of dust. Let's see, Ether cards. Actually, I might have to do .cards. Ether cards founder, here we go. So they have 3 levels of cards. In fact, I'm going to show you those, ether.cards. And I know I didn't need to do this for them as a sponsor. I'm doing this because I want to share, I guess, follow up on that, some things that I was still processing to try to understand myself, so that I can complete that thought. So they have their founder cards, their alpha cards, and their OG cards. Now the OG cards, there's only 90 of them. The alpha cards, there are only 900 of them. And founder cards, there are 9,000 of them. For every founder card you have, you get dropped, I think it's yes, 10,000 dust, I think. Alpha cards is 100,000 dust. No. 1,000 dust. Alpha cards is 10,000 dust, and OG cards are 100,000 dust. The OG cards are very expensive. We'll look at what the floor is in just a second, but essentially you need 1,000,000 dust to turn in for a CryptoPunk. So as I was thinking about that, I was like, okay, well, let's look at what the floor prices are. We're not going to look at the auction because that doesn't really tell us, but let's look at price low to high. So the floor on these is 0.68 ETH on these, and you only get 1,000 dust for each one of these. So essentially you would have to have, 1,000 of these to get enough dust to get a CryptoPunk. Yeah, so what likely is going to happen is if you're holding these, you can sell your dust, because trying to aggregate dust, if you tried to buy 1,000 of these, well, you can, but notice this floor won't stick around if you try to buy 1,000 of them. And so if you paid 1 ETH a piece in order to buy, get enough for a CryptoPunk, you just paid 1,000 ETH, right? So you did end up with a whole lot of their cards, and there might be future things that they're doing, but I wanted to also show you, I want to look at what the OG, well, let's look at what the alpha ones might be going for. So last I checked, the alpha ones, which you can see a slight difference down below. There we go. So this alpha card is asking for, so you would just need 100 of these. So that would be 450 ETH in order to do it, which is really kind of very expensive still. But let's look at what it would be if you had some OG cards, and they really start, last I checked, pretty high, and we're just looking at some numbers. Now, are you going to collect enough of these to get a CryptoPunk? I'm not. Okay, so the lowest OG card I'm seeing right now, the floor is about 40 ETH. So you would need 10 of these in order to get a CryptoPunk. So that's 400 ETH in order to get 100 to 150 ETH CryptoPunk. Now, could be, I don't know what 30 CryptoPunks they are, or 27 CryptoPunks. It could be one that has a much higher than normal value. I just don't know. So, all right, so you get this one for 45 ETH, but the cheapest one, so you're really looking at maybe even as much as 500 ETH to get 10 of these. Is that feasible? For some people, it absolutely is, and they'll totally do this. If you've seen the art on these OG cards, it is unreal how cool most of them are. In fact, there's one on here that I would give my left arm for. I mean, I wouldn't really give my left arm for, but can you imagine having this Batman one? I mean, the art on these, this is the one, right? I am such a Star Wars nerd, but oh my gosh, how ridiculously cool is that? I mean, look at the art on these things. They're absolutely incredible. So realistically, are you going to get a CryptoPunk? I'm not. I am not going to throw the, what would that take? Like $1.5 million it would take to buy 10 OG cards or aggregate enough between everything to make that happen. So what's interesting is this hasn't really caught on yet, and people haven't really figured it out. What may happen is some price appreciation, because as people start to figure this out and they want to get that dust. And so I did buy a bunch of these cards, and I'm just looking, and I did not buy any OG cards. I just have a hard time dropping 40 ETH on any one thing, right? So Now, maybe in the next cycle for me, 40 ETH will be like, no big deal. But for now, it's like, that's still a big deal for me in one thing, in one NFT, even though I love their artwork. But I did pick up an alpha. I did pick up a whole lot of their other ones. So how am I going to play it? Either I'll just continue holding the cards and I'm going to sell the dust because I'm not going to try. I can't say I wouldn't be able to. I'm not going to try to collect the dust in order to get the CryptoPunk. I'll just sell it to somebody who is going to do that, and that's cool with me. So it does mean that, I'm keeping a collectible that then I can get the dust on and essentially make a return on that dust. Well, what is the return on that dust? So if you just do some math, essentially you're getting about the value of the dust that you'll be getting dropped is probably close to about 25% of what the cost of the card is. So now if these appreciate a bunch, then that's not going to be the case because they appreciated a bunch, or maybe that will drive up both. But if these appreciate a bunch, I'll probably sell half of the cards that I have just so that I have a free ride on the rest of the cards. Does that make sense? And then when the dust comes out, I'll probably sell the dust too. Does that make sense? So the half I sold, I won't be able to get any dust from that. But the half I didn't sell, just hang on to the cards and sell the dust. Makes sense? You still have, notice each one of these still has attributes. And so the ones that you hold on to, you still will likely have, if you have one that has a punk battle ticket, this is for the battle royale. There's also these royalty battle tickets where there's some kind of battle royale where that you can win 3% royalty traits. I don't know what those are, but these things are for those remaining 3 CryptoPunks. So if you have some of these on your tickets, and the details of how that will play out has not been released yet. All right, guys, ladies, gentlemen, I've got the rap for you. If you haven't listened to this rap all the way through, or you just want to listen to it all the way through, great. It's here for you. You don't feel like you have to. It hurts the algorithm when I leave it on, but I leave it on because it's reinforcing the principles that have led me to life-changing wealth. And I have a feeling that these principles can do the same for you, especially the better you follow them. So this rap was specifically made for each of you just to reinforce the principles on a continuous basis. Thanks so much, everyone. We will see you soon.
Came into the space chasing all of the gains, chasing the pumps and all of the hype trains. But like in life, you buy before you're good. Was taught to buy when it was boring like a rainmaker should. I buy when it's down, don't chase the boats that I miss. Cause I always make the time in mind. I sit the one out cause I'm patient like that. And I'll wait for the right time. I'll sell when it's high, I buy when it's low. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm just a rainmaker running the show. Calculated investments, I don't lead with my heart. The principles are simple, they're leaving a mark. Buy when it's boring, just gotta be smart. I sell when it's hype, like all the channels they pump it. That's when I was selling, go parabolic and dump it. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm a rainmaker, making my own start. I'm with the future, learning the past. Makes the time fly by, years going so fast. The game plan is mine, I'll own it now. When I reach the top, haters asking me how. Cause I'm a rainmaker, investments I love. And I follow what I learn, not relying on luck. The time is never better, the time like the present. This next 5 years is a gift and it's feeling like heaven. I'm committed to learn, to study and to know that nothing comes easy but with knowledge to gain show. Sticking out that's wrong cause soon will come a bear market. Learning and growing and when it's slow will be the target. Naysayers come out, Bitcoin is dead. The massive decreases can get to your head. I'm sticking around, the time is better. I'm strong like that, I'll let the others be fretters. In 2 years time the bull will bring back the gains. That makes it worth the effort cause here comes the rain. So let's go rainmakers, let's make it all happen. Let go with the hate, let the haters be crapping. I'm here for 5 years, let's do this together. The time is right, the time could be better. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm a rainmaker, making my own start. I'm with the future, learning the past. Makes the time fly by, years going so fast. The game plan is mine, I'll own it now. When I reach the top, haters asking me how. Cause I'm a rainmaker, investments I love. And I follow what I learn, not relying on luck. Haters be hating, no time to slow down. Addressing what they say when I'm wearing my crown. They're chasing green candles like someone who was new. I got a vision that was bigger, helping me to push through. I'm still human and sometimes it is rough, and that's what makes me special, simply I stay tough. Cause I'm a rainmaker, investments I love, and I follow what I learn, not relying on luck.